Welcome back to my channel. I'm Dax. I run a post-production company called JD Productions, and we do content strategy and post-production for coaches and consultants who are making more than $20,000 a month. This does not apply to someone who's making less than $20,000 a month because you need to do more outreach, do paid ads to get that initial sales and to validate your idea and your service so that you would have enough money, enough runway for content to actually work, because content requires a long runway before it takes off. For that reason, we only work with people who are making more than $20,000 a month, because those are the people who can actually sustain and be in the game long enough to see success. With that being said, in this video, I'm going to explain something that I've personally noticed having worked with multiple coaches and consultants and even business owners who are doing 100K months, 200K, $500,000, and even $1 million months. And they had few things in common, and I picked them up so that I could use it for my own business. And it has helped me tremendously because the way they operate and see content is extremely different from a beginner, someone who's just starting out, or maybe who's doing it for years and not yet committed, have not yet applied themselves to content, to this craft. Before I even say all those things, you need to understand this one subtle distinction that these people subconsciously understand. Content is a form of marketing. That's why it's called content marketing. For some reason, most people who don't see any success with content treat it like a hobby, just for content's sake. They do some vlogs, they do some talking head videos, they try some random things. If those things they tried don't work out, they kind of give up. They become dejected. They become so disheartened to the point where they don't want to do content anymore. Before I even explain all these things of what makes these people stand out and actually win despite changing content environments and atmospheres and attention paradigms, they still persevere, they become resilient, and they change. Resilience means changing or adapting to the changing environments successfully without dying. That's resilience, right? If that is the case, these people have these three traits that make them unstoppable. It's the most fundamental pieces that you have to have in order so that you won't give up. Giving up is one of the biggest killers with content, because most of the coaches that I work with who didn't actually succeed are the ones who gave up. Before I get into it, I want to give you some hope, some belief, so that you would feel that it's possible for you. So watch this montage.
I had to get 4,000 reps here. And so when I say that we make 350 pieces of content every week, I have a lot of reps.
Ignore the opinions of others and do so much volume that it would be unreasonable that you would be unsuccessful.
And I just made the decision to essentially reorganize my whole life to become a media person. It occurred to me that everything I wanted to accomplish in my life while I'm here, while I'm still breathing, exists on the other side. You have a vision board, you have goals, you have dreams, you have big things you want to accomplish. All of that is on the other side of your reach and your reputation.
People made fun of me when I started creating content online. If you really had companies that made $80 million in revenue, why would you be making Instagrams and TikToks? And that doesn't make much sense. Creating content is a way for you to have unfair access in a world. How do I become friends with billionaires? Because they watch my weird content.
People are crippled when they have to create original content. But when you actually understand that you and your life are the unique piece of creative, it changes everything. Keep making, keep trying different things. For so many of you, your dreams, your hopes, your aspirations, your small business, your startup, your big business, your invention, you can make it happen.
I know I create a lot of content compared to other people.
My job is to get 8 billion people to know me. If enough people know me, they'll buy from me. I'm not going to be a slave to one person or one vertical or one niche or one partnership. You guys have the whole world at your access. If I can get enough people, a very small percentage of the population to know me, I think the other 99% become convinced they know me.
How do you feel now? Do you feel that sense of belief, that hope, that you too could have all those things? Just let that belief spread across your heart, across your brain. Let it fill your entire being, because it is possible. Somewhere along the way you gave up, and that is the reason why you're not able to get 100K, 200K, 500K months. Because if you can figure out content marketing, possibilities are endless. You would not believe what kind of opportunity you would get overnight if one of your videos go viral or just land on the right eye. is just life-changing. I'm gonna explain 3 traits that make these people who they are. Every human being has these traits. It's just they are dormant, they're asleep. If you could wake up all these traits, you would revolutionize the way you do marketing. Your business would change overnight, I promise. Because I have seen firsthand a person doing 10K a month, 15K a month, go to 150K, 200K a month. And now they're doing 750K-ish. And it's just bonkers to see this level of growth. It can only be possible if you can crack content, because it's free. Because the moment it starts working, it would absolutely change your life. I worked with a wealth advisorship and a management company, and they are managing billions of dollars. And I talked to these people. These people have become the person who can create content, who can actually make content marketing work. And I'm gonna explain 3 traits that these people have that I've noticed. If you can adopt and adapt to these traits and become that person, it can be life-changing. So pay attention. The first trait, they create content religiously. They see it as the most important task of their life. They don't skip it, they don't procrastinate, they don't bargain, they don't negotiate with themselves or anything. Even if they have the most important events happening in their life, they will make time to create content. That's what I meant by creating content religiously. You might have faced this problem because you said, okay, I'm late to the gym, or maybe there's a wedding that I need to be at, there's a event that I need to attend, important emergency in the family that I need to attend to, so that I cannot create content. But these people, on the other hand, they think, I need to create content, so let me finish this fast. I need to create content, so let me reprioritize, reschedule. I need to create content, so let me fix this issue properly so that it never repeats. I need to create content, so I need to say no to all these things. You see the way they see content? It is a sacred ritual. It's that serious for them. If you want to stop watching the video and just go ahead and apply this one trait, install this one trait into your system, into your nervous system, it will be game-changing for you. The second trait is they divorce any kind of emotion attached content that is negative. They associate only positive emotions to content. This is extremely important because training your nervous system to be receptive, to be open, to be excited about creating content is that missing piece that most people don't even bother to notice in themselves, because they talk all the negative things about content. They have all the negative limiting beliefs about creating videos that they just stop. They just fail before they even begin. So a good successful creator and a bad beginner creator, they all start the process the same. They script, they record, they send it to the editor. However, the successful creator is enjoying the process. He likes to experiment with content. He likes to try new things. And he is in this positive ball of world, of reality, of paradigm that he is in that gives him endless energy to create content. Whereas this negative, limited mindset beginner creator, he thinks that, oh, I need to create content so that I can make my business work. It's so hard. I need to figure it out. I need to take that course. I'm struggling. I need to show people how good I am. And they have this negative association with content. And no matter how hard they try, they become so exhausted so quickly that they give up. That's the only possible end for this person, for this persona, for this avatar. Like, both are human beings, both are capable of being in either places. However, a successful person stays here because it's the most advantageous position in the chessboard for creating content, because you need to have that mental space, positive mental bandwidth, so that you can create content endlessly. That's why I said you need to remove any emotion that's negative, that's associated with content. The content marketing or recording sessions, anything associated with creating content, you need to infuse that with a lot of positive emotions: calm, hope, curiosity, interest, adventure, risk, reward. All these things. Even risk is a negative, or luck. What other emotions are good when it comes to content that I use? Perhaps joy. Joy is a great emotion to feel when you're creating content. One other thing that I want to mention with the emotions is that whatever you feel, you need to flip it. Right now, I feel like I don't want to make any mistakes. So if you allow yourself to make mistakes, and if you give yourself that condition, okay, I'm allowed to make mistakes, all of a sudden your entire nervous system calms down. It just regulates everything and you're so natural in front of camera. So even now, I'm making a few mistakes here and there because I'm starting to create content and English is not my first language. So obviously I need to train myself to speak this way. Even my accent, it's not natural. I am training my accent. Obviously, I feel all these negative, low energy emotions. So this is how I train myself. I am associating this process with positive emotions. That's all I'm doing. And it has allowed me to come so far from where I started. So I urge you to use the same thing, the trait of removing any emotion that's negative, that is associated with content or anything in your life. Winning becomes a breeze. Winning becomes effortless. You would still work hard. However, you would not feel that burnout. Because if you retrain your nervous system, you would get energy after each recording session. It has to give you energy at the end of that task. If it does, you are in the right mental space. You have adopted the trait successfully. So the third trait that they have is they pay for different things. They pay for trust, time, and taste. Extremely different from how most people live their lives. Because here's the thing, usually people bargain, they negotiate, they haggle just to shave off a few dollars so that they can feel good about their negotiating skills. But here's the thing, successful people, successful business owners, they pay for trust, time, and taste. They don't want to save a few dollars here and there and end up having to face all that ridiculous mistakes that people make. Because trust, time, and taste is what rich people value. So when you are creating content, when you hire someone, full-time agency, contractor, you should be willing to pay for outcomes. You want to create world-class videos, or at least videos that will get views. So the thumbnail, the video editing, these things, you cannot be sitting and taking courses, design courses, video editing courses, and figuring things out yourself, because it would take years for you to learn all those things and become a master at it. That's why you need to pay for trust, time, and taste, because taste cannot happen instantly. It evolves. You need to spend more time in developing taste. That's why you need to hire a contractor, an agency like us, or a full-time employee who has that experience. If you want to make 100K or more a month, you should be willing to pay for outcomes. Outcome being, here in our case with content, thumbnail design, video editing, chapter markers, writing descriptions, writing titles, testing different titles, scheduling to distribute the video on YouTube, and clipping short form and editing those short form and distributing those videos across all vertical platforms, and measuring the performance and giving you a report every month. This is a whole chunk of work that you should be willing to delegate. If you don't do that, you will have to do each and everything on your own, which would suck up most of your time, like 70% of your time or 80% of your time. That's why most people give up, because they think that this is not for them. But what they refuse to understand is that you need to start delegating, because that's why I said you have to be making $20,000 or more a month, or else content will not work for you. Because YouTube is getting more competitive and you cannot be an amateur and doing everything yourself and expect to win. So here are the three traits. Number one, create content religiously. Trait two, remove any kind of negative associations or emotions attached to content and infuse it with positive emotions. Trait three, pay for trust, time, and taste. So that's it for the video. If you want to work with us, there's a link in the description where you can actually book a call with me personally and have a 45-minute free strategy call if you qualify. If you're making more than $20,000 a month and you want us to take over everything about your content marketing, all you have to do is just record and send the file to us, and we take care of the rest. If you need us to help you, book a call and I will meet you there. And for everyone else, keep enjoying the content. See you on the next one.